Great. You made it. As always, I'm excited to have you. Nervous about what you're going to say, but I'm here for it. See, because Question Time was founded on a longing for us to talk to one another through open dialogue, active listening, and the sharing of opinions and facts. See, we strive to move past the texting and get back to the good old days. You know, the days where audible words were used to convey a message and talk to people. I know, it's scary, but we can do it together. Now, there are a few things that are required before we start. One, we will be respectful, considerate, and courteous. We will also know that feelings might get hurt because not everybody agrees with everybody. But when all is said and done, we will leave not in hate, but in love and understanding. Number two, you can join the live by clicking the link pinned. Note that you do need to share the join, unless it's one of those pop on, pop off type of shows. However, if you plan to be on the panel for a prolonged period of time, and you know what I mean, be kind and share the show to your page. See, this shows us that you want your people to chime in, that you support our growth, and that you are encouraging us to press on to being a brilliantly successful show. Now, if you can't do that for Question Time's expansion, we get it, we understand. But you also have to understand that you can comment in the comment section. Cry about it to your mom. Okay? Now, let's get started. Raw News No Fluff presents to you Question Time with me, your host, Brandy Grant. I'll be back in 1 minute. Hello. Good evening. Let me slide that in because that was a far reach. Hi, it is question time. Wednesdays. It's Wednesday. Question time. Before I forget, we will not have question time tomorrow. I'm not tomorrow, Lord help me. We will not have question time next Wednesday because I won't be available. But if there's somebody that wants to, I don't know, host that Wednesday, get at me, let me know. If you want to join this live, which would be great because I might be solo dolo tonight, but you can always be in the comment section. Click that link that's been pinned. We are first going to go ahead and talk about, you know what, we're going to talk about Latin women and Black women. We're going to talk about that first. It was brought to me via a message actually, and the message went a little like a little something more like this because I got to find it. Okay. It said, Why y'all consider Latinos anger as sexy, but Black women's as ghetto? And when I read that, that's exactly how I read it. I could be terribly wrong, but that's how I saw it. So I'm going to read it again because I'd rather be. I just read this comment and it's hilarious. Um, so the question was, why do you all consider Latinos anger as sexy, but Black women as ghetto? And this comment here says, because I'd rather be a pendejo than a BA N-word. And with that answer, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I understand, sir. I understand. Legit. What is going on? Oh, that's what I did. Sorry, I'm seeing crap that whatever. So black women and Latina women, and I get this, and I understand this because as a black woman, it's like, yeah, why y'all want to? Why do you? I'm sorry, sorry, gotta get the accent going, right? Why do y'all look at black women as like, oh, she's an angry black woman, but when a Latin woman cuts the fool, she is feisty or spicy. Like, oh, she got that little Latin flair about her. Oh, she's so fuego. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know the answer to that question. And it frustrates, it doesn't frustrate me, but it's like, come on now, like for real, for real. What's going on? What is the reason? What is the reason that black women are looked at as in a ghetto light as opposed to she's just being a little spicy or she has this flair about her? So if anybody want to determine or explain why that is, you can comment in this comment section. Let me know what's really going on because I would like to know your take. And I would definitely like to know the take of Latin women and black men. Because really it's not I don't really hear because I we don't really hear it from I don't really hear from white men, but I most definitely oh my apologies people on here. There you go, love bugs. So y'all can jump on if y'all want. Um, I don't hear it from white men that say, "Oh, black women are ghetto and Latin women are spicy." I more so hear it as from black men that black women they so ghetto. Like, why they so ghetto? Um, and I'm trying to think, do I hear from Latin men? And my answer would have to be no, not really. But those, okay, but to be fair, those are not the circles in which I hang out. So I don't know how that group of people operate or how they speak when I'm not there because I'm not there. Um, Another thing oh, I don't know what this comment means, and I don't know when this person left this comment like 5:42. How you leave a comment and nobody was there for it? But it said they abort 38% of their pregnancies, 82% are obese, and 78% are unwed mothers. I blame white women. White woman Margaret Sanger, founder of the Negro Project in 1939. So y'all know what I'm doing. If anybody else is looking up this, I love you. The Negro Project, instigated in 1939 by Margaret Sanger, was one of the first major undertakings of the new Birth Control Federation of Dido Dodi Dido Do. Okay, this sounds interesting. Looks like Margaret was a white woman. Okay. The Negro Project, okay, was one of the first major undertakings of the new Birth Control Federations of America, BCFA, the product of a merger between the American Birth Control League and Sanger's Birth Control Clinical Research Bureau in one of the more controversial campaigns of birth control movement developed by white birth control reformers who consulted with African Americans to help in promoting the project only well after its inception. The Negro Project and associated campaigns were nevertheless widely supported by such black leaders as Mary McLeod Bethune, W.E.B. Du Bois, that's how you pronounce it, and Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr., influenced strongly by both the eugenics movement and the progressive welfare programs of the New Deal era. And Negro Project was, from the start, largely indifferent to the needs of the Black community and constructed in terms which, with perception that today smack of racism. So, okay, that sounds great. I'm going to read that, and I really want to read it now, but it's so long. It's so long, so I can't. But to that comment, I do want to say it says they abort 38% of their pregnancies. 82% are obese and 78% are unwed mothers. Which group are we talking about here? What could we talking about? Because though if you talk about black women, because as black women, I can speak on black women. If you're talking about black women abort 38% of their pregnancies, what percent do white women abort their pregnancies? And I ask that question only because this reform of Roe v. Wade was largely because these wealthy white men, they weren't trying to prevent black people from having abortions. They are not trying to increase the black population. What they're actually trying to do is increase the white population so that they don't become the minority in these here United States of America. So I don't know what the comparison is right here, but I'll just this comment, blah blah, like what's going on, and have a feeling that you're not going to say anything because I think you just feel some statistics. However, I thank you for this Negro Project thing because I'm going to definitely read it and expand my mind because it looks really good. So you blame them. Now, my question still remains: why is it that Latina women are spicy and Black women are bitter? Because that's basically what they're saying. Black women are bitter and Latino women are, they have a little flair, a little spice about them. If you can explain that to me, that would be great. As for, so that brings me to the matter of, oh, that's my straw. I'm like, what is that? That brings me to the matter of why men prefer Latin women over Black women. It's usually this white versus Black thing, and Black men versus Black women. Um, but we rarely talk about the Latina aspect of things. One thing I can say I don't like is when Latinos use the N word. I'm not a fan, and I'm not a fan because I can't call you the slurs that are that are titled to Hispanic people. I'm not permitted to do that. Like that's racist. But the use of the N word will be um, made okay because we're of African descent. We're Afro Latina. We are also African. But if you're a part of us, we're a part of you. No, you can't. You just because and then in a lot of countries, the darker skinned Latino people are shunned and made to feel bad about themselves. They aren't as adored or as popular. So I think that is interesting. Hello, Jay.
Hello.
Give me mine. Anyway, so um, I'm sure, as you know, the subject matter is Latino woman versus Black woman, and I've gone into a rant. Usually, you guys drive me into a rant, but I think I've gone into off subject my darn self. So it's basically, why are Black women considered as bitter and Latino women are spicy?
I think culture helps that, and I'm not taking it, but I think in the culture, Latina women are allowed to be expressive by their men. They joke about the women being spicy. So I think, even though it is true, I think we have kind of identified that that's an expected thing from them. So it's almost like it's a expected thing and a um, an allowed thing. I don't want to use the word allowed, but it's
Acceptable.
easier to, yeah, acceptable. That's a good way to
So
say it. I
then
like.
why aren't Black women spiciness? Because we give the same level of spice.
Do
And
y'all really?
from my vantage point, we are less violent with our spice.
Y'all are what?
Less violent with our spice. Because I see a lot of when Hispanic women get
Hispanic women gonna
spicy.
put their hands on you. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hispanic women gonna put their hands on you. That's true. I actually have a very close. play cousin of mine. You actually spoke to him on the phone today. A Hispanic lover his actually pulled a not he had called the police, pulled a knife on him and tried to cut him for real. Yeah, that's a real thing. I yeah. I just want to say I don't condone violence though from anybody. I don't think that if a Hispanic woman or Latina woman is putting her hands on a man, that it's any better if a black woman did it or it's any more acceptable if she did it. I just want to say
But
that for
that
the
still
record.
doesn't explain why black women, when we get upset, it's a bitter or it's ghetto or it's and that
Or
comment that
crazy.
he left under it was hilarious. Or what now?
Or crazy.
Or crazy, right? The angry black woman. And when other groups do it, it's like, oh, they're so cute. Look at them trying to be
It's
all
cute even. Yeah.
feisty. Yeah.
I, I think it's like that even within brown communities with Caribbean women. An African American, even a Caribbean woman, not just Puerto Rican, but I mean Bahamian or Jamaican, there are people who would take that behavior from her more than they would a true blood African American woman from America. Even with them, it's romanticized, I believe.
And why is that?
I think that American black man feels like because of all he's went through historically, even what he didn't live through, the fact that he knows what his ancestors lived through and what he lived through, he expects his woman just to be cool, calm, collected at all times. I'm not saying I subscribe to that, but I think that is a real thing. Even to the point where they don't like to hear a legitimate complaint come from a woman.
But they hear that complaint coming from a Latino woman.
Not no, no. I maybe the fella's gonna disagree with me. I, in my opinion, I think dudes work harder with Latina and white women that they don't hear those complaints at all.
So you said they put in
I,
more effort not to for them to not be
yeah,
upset, but put in the bare minimum for black women. I'll accept that.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I believe that's what I've noticed, and I'm again I don't agree with it, but it's definitely a thing.
I was just about to ask Ashley what she thought. Why do I smell bread?
Say what?
I smell bread. Oh,
You
that's not me
smell
being an
bread?
that's not me
That's
being an
funny.
angry black woman or anything. I'm just saying I smell bread. So how do you think we can
But let
turn
me
this
ask you
around?
this:
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna, but before we get to turn around, do you not believe that some black women are spicy though, or some black? Do you not believe that there is a again, not to categorize all black women, but do you not think that there is a level of, excuse me, ratchet or ghetto or something associated with some black women? I think we talked on this platform before about the bonnet wearing in public and stuff like that. Do you not think that that representation is prevalent among some cities or neighborhoods?
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah. But you know when you
Okay.
see that. I think people know when they see that. But in in a not so harsh reality, but reality is that white women are now wearing bonnets, Hispanic women wear bonnets, others wear bonnets. And I was on a plane once, and I asked uh I asked someone, I was like, asked a coworker, I was like, why would she wear a bonnet on the plane? You know, a question that she's asked me before about a black woman. I'm like, why would she wear a bonnet on the plane? She was like, oh, she's probably protecting her hair.
That a
I'm like,
Caucasian
but
lady
the
said
black
that.
woman is good on when she does it, but she's protecting her hair. And she was like, well,
You're saying you saw a
uh-oh. You saw who? You're muted. Or you're not muted, but I just can't hear you. So, okay. So to answer that question, yes, I saw a Caucasian girl with a bonnet on her head. There was a couple of them actually. Bonnet on her head, going to her seat. Yes. And I asked, why is she wearing a bonnet? Because it's like when black women do something, it's ghetto. But when any other group does something, it's a trend, it's a style. Take example, what's her name? Kim Kardashian. when she wore braids. I'm bringing you back in. When she wore braids, it was like, oh, that is so nice. Her braids are so just so ooh, but it's ghetto when black women do it.
I'm
It's
sorry, I got a
childish.
phone call, but
Uh-huh.
I want to go back there. You heard you saw a Caucasian lady wearing a bonnet in public, and another Caucasian woman justified it with she's protecting her hair.
Hmm.
Wow, that's shocking.
You should have seen. Oh, you didn't see my face?
Yeah, that's shocking.
Really? When I
Yeah,
asked her, I was like, so when black girls do it, it's ghetto, but when she's doing it, she's protected. What hairstyle is she protecting? What hair is she
right.
protecting? Because bonnets
Yeah,
hold in moisture. Y'all don't want to do that.
yeah. And I think another thing, I've worked with black women who have expressed themselves at work even about legitimate ills that have befallen them in the workplace. And
Hmm.
I remember the conversation. And I never forget a dude tried to like bring me in on it. Like, wow, bro, bro. That's always the telltale that he getting ready to say something that's gonna make you want to knock his nose off. Cause I'm not your brother.
Right.
And so he was like,
I'm
yeah,
your
bro,
bud. Call me bud.
you can't say anything to her. And I'm like, because I know what that feels like too as a black man. But it's like even at work, they can't express themselves, and there is a little sass to a black woman when they get you together. I mean, there is, but it's not always disrespectful,
It's a
and
little
it's not.
spice.
Yeah, it's not threatening, but they are very threatened by a articulate black woman. I mean, just look at before she was our vice president, she was able to show it more. Kamala Harris, and this Fannie Willis lady down in Georgia, like these people, these ladies are giving it to people, like you know what I mean. And for some reason, that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was at work on a job situation, and this I think she's mixed, white and Hispanic, but I'm gonna say she's white just to be on the safe side. She was eating something, she spilled rice everywhere, and I'm thinking, are you not gonna clean that up? Like you're just gonna leave it there because she walked away. Um, and like we were on a break or whatever, and she said something, and I said, and you're disgusting. Like she said something to me, I was like, and you're disgusting. And she was like, "Oh, how are you gonna call me that?" Now she came to me with this whole attitude and or I don't remember what she said, something maybe you're silly or you're ridiculous. And I said you're disgusting. And there was another coworker who was, I want to say he was Hispanic, maybe black and Hispanic based on his hair texture. And he was like, you should just apologize to her. I was like, why am I the one that has to apologize to her? She came in guns a blazing, and until you show them what they are and how they're being, they're gonna continue to do this. I'm not apologizing to her because I'm not in the wrong. And he was like, well, sometimes you just gotta. I don't just have to do anything. She can have a miserable day and going about her business. Have a miserable day. Bye. I'm not
have a
conforming to that.
have a
Have a
miserable.
miserable day. Bye.
Yeah.
And she played victim like she got attacked. And I'm like, I was sitting here this whole time. You came over here and interrupted what I was doing,
Right.
but I'm the angry one.
And I think for black women, I can't speak for black women, but just looking at the dynamics of history and traditions, black women, it seems like to me, may have been the last group of people to get their voice. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
may have been.
You know, did I say I didn't mean to offend with that, but I mean, even when white women were starting the suffrage movement, black women were not leading in that.
We didn't want to have nothing to do with that. That's them. We didn't want to do
Right?
that
Yeah.
because it
So
wasn't
so
for us.
right. So I think that when they finally got this voice after the black man got his and was accepted in society, uh, for uh, for the most part, black women got theirs because remember these are people in America who 150 years ago were slaves,
Right.
sharecroppers. These were people who
Not even 150 years ago, because my great grandparents were sharecroppers.
really.
My granddaddy was born on a plantation.
So he could remember that. Wow.
Yes, and they think it was so far away. It was not. My granddad was born in
This was your
1922.
dad's grandfather.
My dad's grandfather was born on a plantation. My dad's mother, her parents were sharecroppers.
Wow. Yeah.
Like y'all tripping. It's so close.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
freaking close.
And I think the psychological impact that not being a grown person while being a grown person, you know, I think that so black women, I feel like they found this voice, and they're not going to they ain't going silent for us no more. Black men in general, and I think that maybe that's why they're considered spicy, because there is an expectation, I believe, of a black man that you out of all people should respect me or be quiet or submit to me or not fight me. And so even though I take it from her, even though I take it from them on the job, even though I take it from the police on the streets, even though I take it from all these other people, when it comes to you, you sort of kind of become my punching bag. Well, I don't I don't want to say accidentally to soften it, but that seems the way it is. And I think there is a very unhealthy, um, unspoken rule amongst black men. I am one that, if you don't run your show, and you're not a man, and by that, oftentimes running your show manifests in running your woman or treating your woman bad. But again, they will not try them Caucasian women and them Hispanic women especially. She can call you a whatever, as long as she said in Spanish and it sounds cute, you find it sexy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well,
And
go ahead.
and you made mention of black women finding their voice or the last ones to find their voice. Black women are literally just finding a voice. I feel like the gay community had a voice before black women had a voice.
Really?
Yeah, because all this queen and sis and all that stuff that came from black women, but you didn't hear it much. But now that
Right.
you hear it, you think that it
Yeah.
came from the gay
Yeah.
community, and it did not. It did not come from the
Oh,
gay community.
that's good,
But I
Brandy.
feel like we're just now finding our voice. It took us, and like you said, it took us this long. We ain't giving it up now. You gonna
Yeah.
hear all his voice, all of it. And because we're just now finding or delivering that voice, you're like, what is that sound? I've never heard that. So it sounds angry and it sounds aggressive, but no, we've been talking this way for forever. We've just been code switching to make you feel better about you.
Do you think it could be damaging to the black family though? How do you balance that with not being defiant or not being submissive or not being pleasant even? Or are those things even something that you aspire to be?
You know how black men feel like I need room to be myself. You have to give me space to be me. Why don't black women get that same space to be us? Why can't we have bad days? It's like black women aren't permitted to have bad days. Why can't we have bad days? You get to have bad days, but I
You really
don't.
feel like
Hmm. You said
that's
what?
tough. I said, you really feel like that black women can't rest in a bad day or have a bad
No, we
attitude or a
cannot.
bad moment? Like,
We can't truly rest in a bad
oh,
moment. We have to, and because we still have to, we still second guess ourselves on, dang, can I be upset? Or are they gonna call me angry black woman? Can I be upset? Or he gonna call me, he's saying acting like a bee? Can I actually like voice my inner scream? Or do I have to sit here like,
God forgive me. God
hmm?
forgive me. Say, God forgive me,
Oh,
because I'm thinking about times I've been in relationships even where your girl's not as happy or not as uh um what's the word I'm looking for, jittery, not jittery, not as giddy, and you're like, hey,
chipper.
what's going on? And you're like, oh, nothing, she's having a day, and you catch at it, you got attitude because she got attitude. You know what I mean? Or maybe she don't have an attitude. Even I just said it that way. Maybe it's not even attitude at all. Maybe it's she's having a moment, but because I need her to be present for me, and I want to make sure she's okay, and I want to make sure she's happy, and I want to make sure make sure she's all of these things. I turn it to something about me, and it had absolutely nothing to do with me. And I have accused her of being I would never say a B or nothing like that, but same thing. You know, what's
Of
wrong
being
with you?
bitter
Right?
or
You're not
angry
satisfied. Right? You're ungrateful. You're ungrateful. You're bitter. You're not affectionate. And it could just be that she's having a day. Life is
and black
tough for
women are
black people.
expected to be happy all the time, even while other people are upset. And that goes all the way back to slavery when you had black women breastfeeding these white children.
Yeah.
We could go home, there's no milk for our child, but we're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to just keep put on a smile so that everyone else is happy. We cannot be upset. Like I think the person who could be the most upset during slavery was black women. Not even black men, black women.
Explain that. I'd like to hear this.
I was hoping you'd say that. No, but for real. So, as a black woman, you have your husband, you have your children, you have the white people's children, you have the slave master. He's raping you. You're taking care of their kids. You can't take care of your kids. Your husband is getting beat to death. I have to take care of him also. And then you take him from me. You take my kids from me. So now I'm left alone just to start again to have your slave master's children, have my husband's children, have to breastfeed, take care of your children, have to play with your children. Can't play with my children because my children are on the field. But the black man, he has to take care of the field. He's not really having to take care of the family because that's what the black woman is there for, to take care of the family. So to make sure the black man can still work. And
Yeah.
he's also, he doesn't get to, oh, you know what? But black men were getting raped by their slave master. So two things they have to do it. The white woman, what is her worries? Her husband is sleeping with the slave girl. Okay. And the
Yeah.
slave master, what is his worry? Nothing. The black woman had the most to be upset with, the most mental anguish and the most physical pain than anyone on that plantation. And then we can't carry that to this day.
I say Ron DeSantis is gonna have your program pulled next week.
Let's go, Ron. I would love to talk to his weird self.
He don't want them people to hear that history. Doesn't that make you second guess white people who praise American history? Don't that make you feel like
And the people that try to rewrite American history.
right? Try to make it an economic issue and not a humanity issue.
Right. I know a girl, she went on a tour, I think it was in Georgia or Louisiana or somewhere around there, between there, one of those states. And they said that the house was the plantation. So why are the black people so upset if they are raised or if they were had to work on the plantation? This is a beautiful house. The plantation is a whole thing. Go look at those slave quarters that's the size of a chair and
Uh,
then talk to me. But yeah, so it's like black women get no we get no leniency.
no, there's never a break.
We don't get a break. And the only break we have is by ourselves, which isn't the best kind of break to have because I don't think people should be in a state alone. And then with our friends, but then if we're hanging out with our friends and we're laughing, why are we being ghetto? You're so loud.
Uh-huh.
And then if we say something, why are you being so angry? You're so loud. And it's like, so I can't be happy. I can't be upset. What am I supposed to be then?
But I will say this: there are some
Uh oh. And then people like to, because you're gone. Okay. Oh, what were you gonna say? You can't hear me? Okay, he's gonna go out and come back in because I can't hear him. But then people are like, well, Latins were slaves too. Where? Because the most brutal slavery was in America. Where were Latins slaves? But they also say white people were slaves too. No, you weren't. You were indentured servants because you had to pay off something, but you got your freedom, like the Bible says, after your 6 years. You went free the seventh year. The Bible worked for them, but the Bible didn't work for black people. So it's like animals. They aren't supposed. They show their teeth because you have um encroached on their space. They show their teeth, and you're like, oh my gosh, why is this animal trying to attack? Not trying to, but why is this animal attacking me? Why is this animal being so aggressive? I'm just in the woods throwing stuff at it, poking the bear. But when Latina women or white women, they do things, it's like, oh, you know, my straw moved. It was weird. It's like, oh, that's just them being them. Let black women be black women. Let us have emotion. It's okay. We're probably the least. I think black people, period, are the least violent group of individuals out in the world today. Um, Maybe Asian people, but that's a stereotype, so I won't say that. But I do think black women are the most compromising, forgiving, the most flexible, the most accommodating, for sure. I'm not even gonna say maybe another group is black people. Let us express ourselves in the way we are able to express ourselves, and then whatever bottled up energy or bottled up feelings we have, it won't come out in a negative space because we were able to therapize ourselves. Oh, I'm sorry. That threw me off. So we aren't able to therapize ourselves, which is not which if you go back, black people weren't even allowed therapy. And it was in our community that therapy was for crazy people, not for people um, decompress or to vent or to whatever. And now that we're going to therapy in droves because it's wonderful, um, we are able to we still aren't able to express ourselves. We still aren't able to like just be who we are when we want to be who we are. Okay. So to sum up this black woman versus Latina women or Latin women, not Latin, I'm sorry, it should be Latina women. Let me edit that. What is going on? Hide, edit. Sorry, that should be Latina, not Latin, Latina women. Um, I was about to say one thing, but then I also have to consider that darker skinned Hispanic women, darker skinned Latin women, Latina women, they um they kind of get the puffing of the stick, but that's only because they think they're black. Like the society considers them as they're probably black unless they throw some Spanish in there, and it's like, oh, that black girl knows Spanish. They don't even think, she's Latin. Oh, never mind, she's spicy. She's being spicy. So that's that on that subject matter. Unless anybody has something that they want to say. Okay, let's have something they want to say. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Let's see if Jay has something he wants to say. Welcome back, Jay.
Hello. Sorry about that. I don't know why these people keep calling my phone. They know on Wednesday nights I'm reserved for question time.
And didn't.
If they don't know, they know now. Have you switched on to the next topic yet?
No,
Oh, okay. I changed my name.
but
I changed my name prematurely then.
oh, you stupid. No, it'll be shortly here.
Um,
But I had just finished up with that black woman be black. Let us be free to live the life we want to like. Let us be able to express ourselves emotionally, and then when we blow up, then there'll be less blow up Asian.
it's such a heavy conversation because I can just think of the weight of that for generations, and I'm sure women trying to pass on strength to their little black girls, knowing what was awaiting them in life, but the system seeing, doing the same thing, not changing much. And I do believe black men are part of the problem, because sometimes, because we are neglected, and because we forget that we should be not superhumans, because we have feelings too, but we can't forget that this woman, even though she's had to be strong, because we all have trauma, that she's
Mm-hmm.
delicate and a woman.
Right.
That she still needs. I can, ladies. I'm not fishing, but if I'm talking, I am glad that I do have a character that wants to soften up the lives of women around me. Um,
Well, that's I think women are the most sensitive, the most soft. And I say that because we're the most tender. I say that because we've been punching bags for so long that there's nothing else we can be. We being tough isn't even an option.
yeah,
It was a facade we put. It's a facade we put on, but
yeah.
just love us right. Oh, we're gonna love you. We're gonna love you. Just love us right.
It's hard though. I want to say this. That's not easy, and I hear you, like, and I've heard Ashley say on this platform before. I don't care what I make. I don't care how strong and how articulate and how my views are. I'm still a freaking woman. That's hard though, because for a man, we fight all the time too. It's hard for us to remember that fact and respect the leadership role, because I don't think you all want to be babied. I don't think you all want to be.
Put me in a car, drive around, I go to sleep.
What's wrong with you? So you're okay. You're okay if a man came. You don't have to have this super ultra independence to the point where if a man came in and said, "I got it," you don't have to have this. You can be passenger princess all day, every day.
If David Banner
He's
came
50,
up to me and
he,
was like, Brandy, huh?
he turned 50 yesterday, I
Not
think.
yesterday, I think it was like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But he's so beautiful. Ooh, I was like 50. Didn't know he was that old, much older. But if David Banner was like, Brandy, because I talked to my cousin Leroy about this. Brandy, I
Wrong.
got you.
What's wrong with you?
I wait. I was like, you got me? I got you. Goo goo gaga. What? Yes. I don't want, and I know y'all be talking about some old Brandy so hard, she's so stubborn, she's so I don't want, I said this in a thing before. I don't want to think. If
I, I,
I'm upset, put me
I,
in your lap and rock me. I would love
call,
if my man did that.
I call bacon strips on that for you, Brandy. That's hard to believe, cuz.
Now
I ain't.
I ain't gonna lie, it take the right man. It take a David Banner.
Yeah, I, I,
But
I, I believe you capping a little bit.
I don't want to think. And I don't mean to the point of I don't want to
Right.
be
Yeah.
intelligent.
Right. Yeah. I
I
understand what you're
mean to the point of where we going for
saying.
dinner.
Right.
Like, I don't just bring to get in the car, I'll pump the gas. Okay. Thank you. Like that kind of stuff. Just I don't want to lead.
Yeah.
I support your lead like a motherfucker, but I don't want to lead.
What? But okay. So there has to be a limitation on that somewhere, though, right?
What do you mean?
Because what happens when my leading is not leading you to a dangerous place or even a place of poverty, but maybe it's not a place that you thought or you desired? Are you okay with being patient, or are you okay with being uncomfortable in my leading? Because I think the problem with wanting to be led sounds good, right? But if you build the stipulations for where you will follow, that's not really being led. You're actually leading the leader. I only want to be led in this stipulation. That's not being led. Following almost requires a little blind faith sometimes. A lot of women, I said it on your at men on women. I don't like to tell women where we're going, because I am the thinker. I like to be the thinker. But oftentimes I get frustrated because a woman has to know, and it takes the joy out of it for me to where I don't even want to do anything pleasant or surprising.
I tell this dude all the time. He be like, we're gonna go parasailing. Never said that, but I'm like, don't tell me. Just do it. I look, we going somewhere?
Brandon,
Where
did
we
you just
going?
propose?
Don't worry about it. Just put your seatbelt on.
Did you just
Wait, do I
propose?
need my huh?
Did you just propose to me, girl? I heard you say, "Will you marry me?"
I did not. Like I put where we going? Don't worry about it. Just click clack. You ain't gotta finish. Cool. Because that tells me that you've put thought into it. That tells me that you've actually made a plan. You can make plans and carry them through instead of just giving me false, like just giving me, oh, we gonna fold origami. We gonna change the light bulb. We gonna and we don't do this. And like it's just okay, a whole bunch of we gonna do's.
Yeah,
After you said a whole bunch of we gonna do's, I've moved on. Ain't gonna lie to you.
and don't nothing,
I've checked out.
don't nothing get done.
Right. And even if one or two of those things get done, I've checked out because you said we're gonna do so many things and we don't. I'm like, man, okay, sure, my gang. Like I tell to do, I'm like, just do it. Cause at this point I don't believe you. You've made
Yeah,
so many we gones, but I
yeah.
do not. I would love is if anybody out there knows, let me stop. I'd be crushing on that man for real. Mm.
Really? Okay.
6 degrees of separation, but
If you cool, then I'm cool. Then we cool. David Banner, Anthony Hamilton, great song. We do not own the rights to the music being sang. Uh,
right. But real
that's
girls get down on the floor.
hello. And
When he said Tougaloo,
you knew
in
then he
that
was the
song, I knew then he was my man. I knew then I was in love. When he said Tougaloo, I said, I don't know where this place is, but I want to go.
I want to take me now.
But legit, if a man is like, let me answer that question. I do not mind following, but I think men and women need to understand men's game is the power thing. It's the strength. The woman's strength is mental. You got to be mentally strong to have children. You got to be mentally strong to deal with all the personalities in your house. You got to be mentally strong to code switch at work and come home and still code switch sometimes because your man don't want you to be upset. Women are mentally, most of the time, mentally apt.
Tapped.
So my thing is, I ain't gotta lead. But if you're not leading me to where I think or where I'm comfortable with us going, trust and believe, I'm gonna mind crap. I'm gonna mind hunch the crap out of you.
How,
I will
how
manipulate not
cross?
and not in a negative way. I will manipulate the system where you think it's your idea and it ain't.
Yeah, one of my aunts described that as a man being the head, but her being the neck. And unbeknownst to the head, he has all these ideas, thoughts, dreams, but then he can't even see to his left or right unless the neck turns for him.
Right.
But
Because when
I
that
was
neck
going to say,
locked up, you be like,
what does that look like though? What does that gentle prodding look like without becoming this overbearing, mean black woman that we talked about earlier?
you gotta give me a scenario.
Okay, we get married,
Oh
right?
Lord.
Girl, you love this life. We get married. We watch the same things on Netflix. I like your cooking. You like mine. The bills are paid. We're not super rich, but we can afford a cruise or two a year. But it's year three. We're still in a two-bedroom apartment. You want to buy a house. I ain't really put a lot of work into my credit or saving and this, that, and the other. But we're comfortable and everything is good. But you want to be in a house. You want to be in a home. You want to host your mom and them for Thanksgiving. And how do you tell a man who's not a bum, but not maximizing his potential? How do you get him from that place?
He with
What?
me?
Yeah, he's with you. What do you say? What do you do?
First of all, I've been working on your credit whether you have been or not.
What?
Two, I've been saving whether you know it or not. Now, what are we talking about? That's one.
Okay.
But if I had to speak to him on that, I would. And does he want a family?
He wants a family. Y'all haven't really planned it, but if they have been, y'all good. Y'all comfortable. Y'all
We
got
have.
two
I'm sorry. Is you and I? Are we having regular intercourse?
we're married because I believe that the only way
That's
we
not
should,
the question. I said, all right, married. Are we
yes,
having regular intercourse?
heck yeah.
I'm like, it would be so weird that when your mom comes over here, because the room is right next door, and I ain't that quiet, and you're not that quiet. If your mom came over here and like heard us, we should probably think about getting more space so that she can be away from us and my mama can be away from us, and we can still do what we do. I mean, we are technically paying the same in rent that we would be in a mortgage, so we can either get money back or we can just keep giving our money to this man. But it's up to you, babe. I got your back.
If a woman said that to me, I'm buying a house tomorrow with somebody else's credit.
but I hate Chad. But I've been working on his credit. If our credit is bad, we both gonna figure out how to get the credit, or at least I will, because I'm not staying in this apartment for forever.
Yeah, but that's a deep conversation. Credit, financial stability.
We're
Yeah,
married.
hey, Chad, I was gonna say, but I'll be honest with you. A lot of people treat credit and financial, not just stability, financial standing, almost like they treat health and dirty family secrets. I don't know why. I'm in sales. I've sold car. I started selling. I mean, people do not know how jacked up their husband and wife's credit is until somebody's getting declined,
I have an
and
opinion about this.
it shocks me every single time. Like, how did you not know that he had a 849 and you had a $2.99? How did that not come up before y'all came out here car shopping?
In,
Right.
in
That's the
any
stupid
in
shit.
any avenue of life where you are vulnerable or you have insecurities, there could be some extreme realities there, whether it be financial or I don't want to say religion, but I will because some people just like put it in a pocket, like, oh, I'm not going to talk about it, even though it's profound to me. And then when it does come to surface, it's not a comfortable conversation. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
But I'm one that's real quick off the bat. Tell me who Jesus is to you. Off rip. Legit off rip. Tell me who
okay.
Jesus is to you. And depending on how you answer that question will determine if we can go on or not.
So,
Two,
no, go ahead.
when it comes to, and this is me, and maybe we could each answer this question: how do we bring up these subjects? How do we bring up these things in conversation? Um, with when it comes to credit, I'm quick to say if you have bad credit and you're insecure about your credit and you don't want to tell me about it, then we can't be together because what you don't tell me, I can't help you fix.
So I got a question. In the dating phase, or just talking, or even seriously dating, you come right out and ask credit questions.
It's not right out. It's not like first, second hanging out, but eventually you gonna start. You may use your credit card regularly. I'm gonna be like, you don't max that out now. And depending on how you answer that,
How
then
do
I
you,
will go into it.
how do you
Hmm?
know what a credit card is versus a debit card? Are you watching, waiting, insinuating?
No, but I will bring up,
Speculate.
even if it's a debit card, even if it's the debit card, don't max that out now. Oh, nah, this credit, this limit, da 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 da. Da. Okay,
Right.
okay, because I don't want you to get in trouble with your credit report. How's that looking? You got to bring it up on the slide. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm like, what is your credit score?
Credit card. Speaking of credit report, what's that looking like?
Right. Who you owe? How much do you owe? Can
That's
you
a
get along without my help?
hmm Those are all valid questions. How early
Right.
you ask them, you know.
It depends on the relationship and depending on the
So that was one and
connection.
two for you. What's your number three?
What's my number three?
Uh-huh.
What you mean number three? What I
The
miss?
Lord, the credit.
Oh, what you what? No, I would say I would say with credit comes debt, like what debt you're in. But my third would be how are you living comfortably? Are you cheap or are you thrifty? Are you frugal or are you compulsive? Like how is your spending habits?
Okay.
So you want to know if he's right with Jesus, right with TransUnion, and how he spends his money.
And right with transactions.
Hello.
Well, yeah, transactions could be different though, because you could be a high risk taker with high credit.
Right. You have no cash on hand, but your credit real good.
What
So
if
I
he
mean,
yeah.
has bad credit, but
that's
he
a
has great?
way. That's a way to. Honestly, I can't shame someone for doing that because this country gives you that avenue to operate in, and you can have things without having money if you have good credit.
Facts.
What what if he's gotten his habits together? His credit is bad, but he's working on it. But he has a lot of history. Like I read a post the other day, and this lady said, for people who don't understand why student loan forgiveness needs to happen, she said she borrowed $130,000. She's already paid 170,000 back. So
And she
she's
Sheesh.
still
and she still owes $90,000.
I know
Medical,
that like
Say that again.
I said I know
medical.
that oh,
Yeah, and she's been paying 680 a month for 21 years. And
she can have
so
that forgiven.
and so with a person like that, is that something that she? I mean, she may have a great job, great income. When you find out that a man is in a situation like that, is that something that you say, "Hey, this is a lot. You can't afford to be dating," or are you getting in the trenches even with a situation like that and saying, "Let's work on it"?
So I can't begrudge someone in that situation because I have student loans. They
Okay.
ain't getting paid on because they deferred. But I would say if you're consistently paying your bills, paying your debt, and it's not in deferment or not in forbearance or whatever the case may be, then why would I be upset with that? You're paying regularly.
So you're saying you can get in the trenches, but he's got to be working toward it.
Right. I don't think I would marry someone like I wouldn't want somebody to marry. I wouldn't expect somebody to marry me in my debt because once we're married, my debt becomes your debt. So I wouldn't want to add that debt into your life. So we would need to figure out how to get that paid off before
Yeah.
we're married. But nah, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you got student loan debt? Nope, I'm out. And you paying regularly on it? No,
There could be three accounts.
no. Once you're married, your debt, like your student, whatever debt you have, becomes your partner's debt.
Really?
Accounts be
Well,
darned.
yeah, in the event of them dying,
Or
yes.
divorcing. Or divorcing.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Stu-
your debt is my debt. I would have
Student
to
loan
split
debt
those
is
30,000 up.
assumed. Student loan debt is assumed by your spouse in Florida, or in well, I guess in this country, I guess it's a.
Your debt becomes my debt.
Wow.
And I already got enough of that. I don't need no more. That's why
I
I
wish.
need David Banner. Oh no, I'm joking, David. I'm joking. Just joking.
Wow. But your 850 credit score can't become mine in marriage though. See, this is a jacked up place to live.
Hello. If we're merging everything, let's merge everything.
This is a jacked
But
up
now
place.
society will be like, we'll average them. So your five with her 850 gets you to 620,
Right. Yikes.
but it lowers hers to 622.
Why do you know all this, Brandy?
I listen. I'm a student of learning. I like learning. So I
Yeah, but it
listen
sounds
to
very specific and illegal.
because that's what
All right,
I've
what you
heard.
working?
That's what I've learned.
Okay.
And then I'm also
What
like,
you really working?
again, I don't want to give somebody else my debt. I mean, I think that's rude. But if there's a plan on how we can get rid of this debt, if there's a plan, an active plan, and it makes sense and it's working, that we're getting rid of this debt, then I can marry you. Because my belief is that during the course of this marriage, in the first 3 or 4 years, both of our debts will be paid off. We'll be good to go. But if it's like, oh, you got debt, I got debt, I love you. What?
There are important conversations to have in a relationship.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't have these conversations until they're
Well,
engaged or they're married. Like that's stupid.
yeah, I just was gonna say. I was just gonna say, and maybe I'm wrong for this. I think those are engagement questions. Are you saying that it shouldn't happen at engagement because that by that time you're already too invested to make a clear-headed decision? Is that what you're saying?
No, because that, well, maybe possibly, but at that time, I've wasted 2 years of my life on you for a 20 credit score. I- and now I have to start
You
over.
so, hey Brandon, hey, hey Brandon, something's wrong with you.
Thank
You
you.
you you need help for Mr. 420 credit score.
Like, what do you mean? How'd you
That
get this ring? How did you get this ring? I'm confused. How did you get this ring? Did you use my credit score? Did you use my social security number?
Did I buy this? Did I buy this ring? Did I finance
Right.
this?
oh
Like
no.
there was
That
a video. Like there was this video of this lady and her dude. He bought a house. 75% of the down payment came from her. She didn't even know about the house.
That's slick.
yeah. Yeah, I know
I mean,
somebody else that happened to. Her
Mm-mm.
literally
that's,
was going to
I
the
mean,
They're
mailbox.
not married. That was she
that's,
get for doing a
Yeah,
joint account, but
that's a con artist right there.
I knew somebody who their fiance bought the ring with their social and was going to the mailbox. So the K Jewelers letters. This is a true story. So the K Jewelers letters were not getting in her hand. But he felt like it wasn't wrong because he was making the monthly payments on the finance rings. So he didn't feel like it was no. He felt like no harm, no foul.
I'm suing him and K Jewelers.
Everybody's everybody's getting sued.
I'm
Mm,
still. How dare you? That his name isn't Brandy.
Right.
Did you check his ID?
Oh yeah,
right?
they don't do
For this expensive purchase.
$6 grand in rings. But he felt like I'm
Was it
paying.
not weird that a woman was buying her own ring and a man was here to pick it up? Come,
Oh,
ma'am,
all right,
who
Brandy,
signed?
can I ask you a question about rings?
Sure.
Because I'm interested in a woman's perspective. Uh, multi-tiered question. Question number one is: should or would what would be your feeling or your reception to a man guessing your ring size and
Okay.
purchasing an engagement ring versus like actually finding it out? Uh, and then number
That's easy.
two,
That's easy to find out, though. Don't guess. It's easy to find out. If I have any rings, period, in the house, and you've seen that ring on my finger before, grab that ring. You know my ring size. Don't
yeah, well,
guess.
which finger?
If you've seen it on a ring finger, the left one or the right one, pick it up. But I'm sorry, answer that question. Don't guess. Just ask.
All right. Next question is because I think I heard $5,000 or something. Somebody whispered that. Do you have a monetary expectation for an ex or for a engagement ring, or is it just an engagement ring?
So the engagement ring is the main ring, and then apparently a band goes with the engagement ring.
There's no
So,
apparently. This is for you because I don't know that there's a standard.
oh no, I'm working it out in my head out loud. Is that okay? Can I work it out
Yeah,
in my
word
head?
it out. Word it out.
So there, okay, for me personally, I don't think I really want a ring. I would prefer you buy me a house.
Okay.
Put that money down on a house. Um, but if I had a ring, it's not a price that is, but a carat. If you're gonna give me a ring, I want a full carat. I prefer solitaire. I don't want it broken up into 8 different stones.
Yeah.
So however much that cost, I don't know.
Depends on the cut, clarity, carat,
All
yada
that
yada.
jazz.
Depends on the formula. Um,
Right.
yeah. Random interjection over. I was curious because
Who you
that
trying to
type of
marry?
research never ends.
That what?
That type of research, like asking a question that doesn't have an answer until you just do it. Will
Right. But
she?
I mean, if you get a band that's too big for her finger, they can adjust it, right? They can make it smaller. So that's an option. I know this ring size is, I know this might be too big for your finger, But I brought it bigger so that you can adjust it. We can go to the jeweler and have it adjusted.
Yeah, but you don't want to adjust it. You want it just to be right. It's like, you
Not
know,
necessarily. I'd rather it be too big than too small.
Really? Well,
right.
yeah. But uh, you should definitely make sure you know what you're doing. I remember I bought a girl a titanium ring because it was the strongest metal ever. It was the evidence that my love for her would never break, and that nothing in this world could cause it. She
Right.
gets she gets sick, goes to the doctor. They,
Allergic?
they tell her get rid of this ring. They take it off, tell her to get rid of it because with the titanium ring they can't cut them like gold. They have to cut your finger off. If you ever get an emergent situation and your hand swells, they have to cut your finger off. And I said to myself, they should put this disclaimer on every person buying a titanium ring. Can you believe that?
Grief.
Oh my gosh.
Here I am thinking I'm here I am super lover, and had her finger swollen a little more.
You
They
trying to get your finger cut off.
cut your finger off. Isn't that something?
That
Well, at
should be
least you'll
on the.
still have this one.
Yeah. You got the toe also. You got options.
Oh,
'Cause,
use too. She gonna use that. Yeah.
yeah, that
Rings,
would like piss me off.
right? But see, you have to know those things, right? Like, could you rings are so? I think I told this story before, and I ain't gonna tell it because I always feel bad when I tell it. Anyway, I got married, bought $500 rings on a Friday. Woke up the next Saturday, I go get a haircut, and in our account, $14,000 had been deposited from that date until this one. We don't know where the money came from. I mean, we know where it came from. We don't know why it came. It came from the U.S. Treasury. We don't know why it came. Right, 14 grand. So we take back our $500 rings that Saturday morning. We're getting married to Sunday. We take back those rings that Saturday, the $500 rings, and spend almost 7 grand on my ring, her setter band. We're divorced today, and so for
That
me,
would have pissed me off.
if I, you don't think I, let me go check my account and I'll tell you how angry I am. Because in my mind,
No, not because we're divorced, but because a $500 ring was okay for us yesterday, but now it's not okay for us today. Like I don't understand what's going on.
And you could
that
have put the money anywhere else.
Take me
Yeah.
on a trip. Like what are we doing? That's why we divorced because you didn't take me on a trip.
bought a house. We could have done a lot. We could have. It was young, dumb, and stupid at the same time.
No, but that's good information because when you feel something, oh, I'm in love. Your budget can go from $500 to $5,000 real quick
Over
before
it
you're ready.
overnight. Hey,
Yep,
Chad. It was overnight, my guy.
yep, yep, yep.
Nah, no.
Overnight. I
We
look
gonna
back
stick with
over
you.
that. I look back.
But I think that has a great deal to do with financial wherewithal.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like, who are you marrying? If my dude would have been like, you know what? Hey, Brandy, you got these $14,000 in the account. Let's take these $500 ring bags. Go get us some. I'd have been like, and take both of them back, and you keep them.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna go this
you
way.
gotta be able to talk
weddings
about it
off.
without taking
Weddings
offense.
off.
Right?
Weddings off. Say it again, Chad. Weddings off. Say it again, Chad.
You have to be able to talk about it without anyone taking offense. Like, oh, you were giving me $5 ring. Now you don't even want to give me the $14,000 ring. Like, no, we have to be in this, like, in line with like, what's the value and purpose of this? And I'm not
We
taking
were
anything away from
fine.
you. We're investing in our relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We were
we
fine with $500 rings yesterday,
fine and in love.
and now we need something. I have to
Six.
question your. I have to question your mindset. So you're telling me what you just told me is if we come into $1,000,000, your dumb self gonna buy a Lamborghini and not a house, or $100,000 you're gonna buy a Lamborghini and not a house. You don't
Exactly.
you don't know what to do with your money when you get it. I can't help you.
You got bad judgment. This is over. And we agreed to it. And we've talked about it, even though at once or twice, like, what were we thinking? I literally remember going to the mall that day and waking up that Saturday. I was in the barbershop when she called and said, check the account. And we literally picked me up from the barbershop. We went right back to the mall. The sales guy was happier than a pig in poop.
I'm sure he was.
He was happier than a pig in poop. And literally, we threw all that money away. Unbelievable. Things you do when you're young and dumb and unlearned.
So let's talk about OJ. For those that don't know, OJ Simpson, the Juice, Orenthal James Simpson, Mr. Not Guilty, the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Is deceased. He
God bless.
died.
God
He
bless him.
did.
And I remember, let me just go. I remember watching this darn trial in school. Only black person in the class.
That's tough.
My uncle recorded every day it aired on the VHS. He
Court
recorded them.
court TV, baby.
He recorded them in the class. All these white kids, white teacher, not guilty. Everybody looked at me.
No.
Yeah, and this is me.
Like you had killed her. You done
He
killed the
right.
whole.
Like, what do you think, Brandy? He's not guilty. What's the problem? I'm
Wow.
okay. The bell rang. I walked outside. Like, I don't know what y'all want, but he didn't kill her.
Yeah,
So
were you old enough to know that he could have possibly killed her? Or is just result is what the result is? Like, you're not guilty.
so my logic, are you asking me my logic on how I figure he didn't kill her?
Yeah, like how'd you walk out with such peace? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not guilty.
First of all, one piece, and Jay probably gonna laugh at this one. First piece was the black man free. Y'all didn't get him. Second, it was how did he kill two people? Like how? Why didn't the other person flee? Why was the
Mm.
other person sitting there like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna get me next? I'm like, this isn't logical. This doesn't make logical sense. But once you see somebody getting stabbed, my first thought is to chuck the deuces. There's nothing I can do for you.
You know
So that
that's
was mine.
that probably was OJ's best legal argument until this day, because he wasn't scratched up like he had been assaulted by her or him. And life has a rhythm. You would think even if the other person didn't run, they just stood there and waited their turn. They didn't fight with him, try to get him off. Like, to me, and I think OJ did it actually. But I will
You
say
think
that
OJ did it?
I think OJ killed the people. But that argument alone is an argument worth saying. There's reasonable doubt there, because that just don't make sense. And I don't see him stabbing the dude first. I see him stabbing the girl first, because that's who he's really upset and angry with. I don't see how you one. It ain't like he shot two people. One man with one knife stabbed two people to death. That's hard to believe, man. That's tough.
Right.
That's OJ though. That's juice.
Right.
But
He's
OJ also was the first NFL rusher for 2,000 yards. So if anybody can do some stuff that's never been done before, I just want to say for the record, it is OJ Simpson.
they weren't killed 2,000 yards apart. Anyway, Chad, do you think OJ is a murderer?
I personally think that he he totally did it. But at the age in which I saw it on TV, like
Uh-huh.
I saw the car chase, the white Bronco. I remember where I was. I was in my
That
living
wasn't
room.
even a car chase. That was a car ride. Go ahead.
I was in Montreal, Quebec, watching the international TV. Like, this motherfucker drive. Excuse my language. He was like really driving away. Like, he's not stopping. And then with all the information that transpired after, I was like, it was as easy as, well, then he's not guilty. I didn't even think about the plausibility of the clues and the timeline and the whatever. I was just like, this is how court goes. You decide guilty, not guilty, and then you just let them go away. Why is this one special? And then when I got older, I was like, oh, black man. Oh, that's why you guys were trying. Famous black man. You know what I mean? Like,
White woman.
it reminded me of the Green Mile. Like, it then when I was like 15, 16, I was like, man, that's terrible. That is terrible that this guy had to be seen that way. But did he do it? I wasn't there, but He's a weird guy.
But he wasn't always a weird guy.
It's 50-50. I'm just saying, if I had to go 50-50, I think, yeah. I don't know. Nice people have a best friend, like at least one. He ain't got no best friend.
Right. But I don't. I just don't. I honestly don't think he did it.
Okay, so next layer of the potential. You're at all connected to Bruce Jenner, whatever, Kardashian, something. Hush Hush Game is like part of their budget. If there was any insinuation of something real, it could have been revealed, and it was not. So I believe that, yeah, another one of those murders that is just like covered up because financially it would be more costly to tell the truth than to just benefit off of the sensationalization of the idea of whatever else could have happened.
Right. But also, if there is that Kardashian Jenner whatever thing going on, it's like, okay, OJ's dead. Here's a recording of him saying he murdered her.
Oh, it'll come out. It's going to come out. It will. And it'll be a Netflix record-breaking release. It might be 30 minutes, just like, here's what he really said. And here's what
I killed
really
her. I killed her.
the
And
glove
she deserved,
and they found another glove. Like,
and I just held my hand like this, so it didn't go on. Like, but my thing is, now we was talking. I was talking to Jay. I was hoping he would still be on right now. But I was talking to Jay about it, and it was like, why in like regular life, if somebody says like a cop, he mentioned this. He said a cop murders a black kid, found not guilty. Society's like, well, the court found him not guilty. He's not guilty. But why is OJ still? Everybody's like, oh, he's guilty. He's guilty. He's guilty. But the court said he's not guilty. Why are we still holding on to that?
and I'm fair. I'm not racist at all. Like, I love white people, but I think it's the combination of being a black man, a big black man, a famous black man, and one that is like a little like full of himself.
Yeah, he's
like, oh no, if he gets off, then who else is going to fall in line and think that they can just be free? And then he was not guilty, and it was like unacceptable. We've already believed that he's guilty. How can you not? And it just illuminates like the deep-rooted preconceptions that people have. Like,
right, and they need him to be guilty.
He had to be guilty. Like, still, like Trayvon too. Like, to this day, people are like, he deserved it. It's like, this was a child with candy.
Right, and the court said that Zimmerman isn't guilty, so he's not guilty. It was proven in court that he's not guilty.
Yeah, so the agenda is obvious.
Right.
Makes me nauseous to think about, but I hope that tapes come out just to hush the conversation.
I feel like at this point, if it were to come out now, straight up, my best friend told me that they made 2 Drake diss tracks saying that they came from Kendrick Lamar, AI'd Kendrick Lamar's voice on these diss tracks. Kendrick had nothing to do with it. So I feel like at this point it's too late for me because AI is such a disrespectful thing that you can create something that says, oh, this is OJ Simpson's voice. OJ said that I murdered Nicole and Kojo or whatever his name is. And da da da. So you can't even, I wouldn't even believe it if something did come out.
True. Honestly, true. It's too
like
late.
Jason, like, how did you kill? Like, was the other person? And this was my theory in school. And I'm asking my teacher this. I'm like, so you really telling me, like, you're really going to tell me this was in gifted honors? I mean, English, gifted English. I'm Miss Oswald. Anyway, I'm like, so you're telling me that one person waited their turn to get murdered? That they was just like, do me next, OJ.
Wow. It's not the first time the juice has heard that. It could happen, but it would have been a bloodier scene. He would have had, some. Anyway,
He had no bruises, none.
yeah, but I guess this isn't the interesting part about a legacy, right? So half of his story is he is one of the best football players ever to play.
Mm-hmm.
All the accolades, he got records. And then once TV and paparazzi happened, he was then seen as something else. And now
Mm-hmm.
he's dead. And now he's dead. And really, your influence in the world should speak for itself. Like social media, whatever videos, they'll tell one story, but that's when I go, the story will be told in church, not on like the news,
When I go, just don't even worry about a story. Just I don't know. You tell me
No,
about it, you're gonna do
we're
anything for
gonna
me.
we're going to celebrate you and talk about you because you've had an influence on the world.
First of all, you act like you're gonna outlive me.
I will outlive you.
Wow.
You see this?
It's funny, like everybody. It's like, oh, I'm gonna outlive you. I'm gonna outlive you. I'm gonna outlive you. But I was talking to my sisters about this. I'm like, just cremate me and dump me outside the car as you drive away. Like, I'm not gonna know.
I have that in my living will to be cremated, but dumped on the side of the road? No. Like, put me somewhere. I got 5 spots, like either in Brooklyn, in the ocean, dig me into like a nice park, put me in an urn, but like put me not in a home, like put the urn away from the home. And the other one is just like pour it out of a small plane.
The only thing you can do with my ass is just like I said, is dump me out the window or bury me with my nephew. That's the only thing you can do with me. You can sprinkle me over his grave.
Why would that be special to you?
Because I'd be next to my baby.
But what's the difference between the window and
the wall? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, but if you're out the window,
I mean, if you feel the need to put me somewhere, I prefer you dump me out. It's not that serious. Save yourself some money, save yourself some time. But if you have just this strong desire to keep my little sprinkles together, then dig a hole next to Boogie and put me there.
Orange County, if you happen to pass there, it's free to be cremated. But in Seminole County, it is $2,500.
It's free to be cremated? You have to be a resident?
No, if you happen to pass in Orange County, it's free to be cremated. It happened to my father.
Man, that's funny. That's crazy.
It's funny because I didn't want no bills, and it was like, oh, it's free. That's what's up.
Sign me up.
I'll go pick them up.
Right. I have this Publix bag you can dump her in. If that bag gonna cost money.
No, I got a free box and a vacuum sealed bag.
Hey, like,
it's free though.
Don't waste the money. I don't know. I legit don't know. But anyway, I don't know who's watching this. They may have sadness thinking about me dying. I'm sure everybody's probably sad thinking about my passing.
I am.
Whatever. But I think it's crazy that people are still so enamored by OJ's. He's guilty. He's guilty. He's guilty. I'm glad. Some people are like, I'm glad he's dead. He's a murderer. I'm like, what's wrong with you mentally that you're glad someone is dead, but you're mad that the person he killed is dead? Like, what's?
I don't want to just say it's racism, but when Black people do things, the spotlight is way bigger than when white people do things. And I don't want to say it's just black and white, but it is here.
Mm-hmm.
Black and white. Michael Vick, Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson.
Like, All the greats are named Michael. Well, a lot of the greats. You had Michael Johnson, the track star,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. Mike Vick is actually a very brilliant football player. It was just Michael was a name to have back in the day. But I ain't gonna hold you. I just want to say
Michael
rest in peace.
Blackston. He's African.
He's not even funny though. His name
He's not. He's just got his shtick, but he's not that funny.
right. He should just be Matthew.
Mm.
Matthew Blackston. We're gonna name him Matthew. He's not Michael Worthy.
You like the Michael, huh?
Right.
Really
Michael
like-
B. Jordan should be named Matthew too because I don't think he's the best actor. That's Meryl. Meryl Streep should be named Michael. I mean, yeah, it should be Michael Streep from Meryl.
What's wrong with Meryl Streep?
She's great. That's what her name should be, Michael.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
They tried. They were like Meryl. We don't want to give her a man's name, so we'll name her Meryl. If
She
anybody knows Meryl Streep,
can't be replaced.
she can't. If anybody knows her, please, I want to meet her so bad.
I would love for you to meet a
So
Meryl
bad.
Streep. I think the conversation would be crazy.
I just want to meet her so bad. And I feel like she's getting older and my opportunity is dwindling away from me. But I'm going to California at the end of this month, people. I don't know where she lives. Make it happen. Anyway.
You will find her. She will find you, and you will find each other.
If she finds me, oh my gosh, I'm going to ask
The
her to marry.
next chapter will be all of the things that you've wished for.
Here I come, Meryl. Oh, I take it. But I say rest in peace, OJ. Congratulations on your not guilty verdict. Congratulations on living a life or trying to live a life in the light of people who in the world that has decided that you're guilty and are going to treat you as you're guilty, even though the courts found you innocent. That's why the court of public opinion is trash. But the judicial system is also. So lose.
Fair.
Is there anything you wanted to say before we wrap up an hour and 30 minutes? I love it.
Well, my question is, usually there's a distinct topic. I didn't know what it was today. I was just happy to see you.
Well, the question was basically the first topic, which was Black women versus Latin women, why Black women's attitudes are seen as angry and ghetto, as opposed to Latin women, when they get a feisty, they're just spicy.
Ooh.
And that Latin flair just comes out of them.
I guess I'm glad that I missed that because I don't have the answer. Because my sister suffers or has lived through that, and my sister's the sweetest girl ever.
Mm-hmm.
But she gets and has lived through the opinion that she's an angry Black woman if she ever voices her opinion. And she's so smart. Like, she's like always trying to help. But if she happens to voice her opinion, it's like, oh, why don't you relax? It's like, what?
We literally spoke on. That's what we literally said.
And why Hispanic women don't get that? Like, why is it accepted? Man, that is really, really difficult to think about because I don't know. They don't get that flack at all. They're allowed to be spicy. And it's like,
it's sexy.
Pero why? Like, I don't. That's an.
Pero por qué?
And that's. I'm going to think about that one because it can't just be skin tone, because a light-skinned Black woman still gets treated like a dark-skinned Black woman. Like, why am I not allowed to just voice my opinion without being thought a certain way?
Right. Huh. And like I said, Black women are expected to be happy 24/7. Like, we don't get to have a bad day. We don't get to have a moment. We have to.
You know what? I'm going to jump on. I'm going to jump out and say something that I might not mean. But here's what I think. Hispanic women, generalization, which I don't stand by, but here's what I'm thinking. Even though they might be spicy, I'm going to talk back, I will bend and compromise to something that you want, and I get my way, and I could keep talking whatever I'm talking. A Black woman, generalization, I don't want to bend. I want you to hear what I'm saying, respect and accept it, and me stop talking about it, and let's just end this. I don't have all this spice for you. So I think the leniency that Hispanic women might have is the attractiveness, and Black women, it's obvious, like they're not trying to compromise. They're just trying to be heard. Um,
You
and
saying black women don't bend, or the
yeah, I'm
men
saying
who
Black women don't bend. So it's like,
Latin women don't bend either, and they're more violent too.
yeah, but they will say, they'll play the game of like, okay, I'll compromise a little bit. I'm going to keep talking my game, and then I'm going to lean hard back to where I was before. I think Black women are not going to waver to like appease you. It's like I'm going to stand a little more firm in what I want and what I believe, and it's not as fun because guys will, yeah, they'll play the waiver game. That's a psychological, sociological question that I'm now going to think about a lot because it's a Florida thing. It's not a. Is it a everywhere thing?
It's an
No.
everywhere thing, because I be seeing chicks. When I was in New York, I was like, this girl is going to slap off on this dude. She was, I don't know what she was. I'm going to call her New Yorican, but she was going to slap off on this dude. And he was like, ah, man, you tripping. What's up? That? And you see a black woman, it's like, why you being a B? Why you acting like? I'm like, dang, they were giving the same energy. I mean,
Yeah.
different men, but they're giving the same energy, and y'all like jumping on this chick, but this one is like, why you being so feisty, ma?
Yeah.
He
This
literally
is.
just mushed you in your face, sir. That's feisty.
Mm, I now have another opinion, but this has to be another conversation. Yeah.
Wonder what that conversation is. Let me know.
It's
Um,
yeah.
let me know. I need and there probably won't be a show next week because I won't be able to show unless you want to like find a topic and moderate it. Hey, go for what you know. So I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Next week, Wednesday. I'll think about it.
Okay.
That's enticing. All right. Have a good night, Brandy.
Good night. A quick thank you all for showing up. Had a great show. We finished. Had a good time because I need to go read the word and I'm gonna go to sleep. Because I'm gonna go to sleep early. I'm very proud of myself. Woke up at 7 today and I was energetic. So, like I said, next Wednesday we will not have a show unless somebody else decides that they want to moderate and handle it. That'd be great. If not, that's great. It is what it is. I gotta be a black woman, right? Always happy. You want to help me or you want to do something? Great. You don't? That's okay. As opposed to you want to help me, that's messed up. Or if you do, great. Whatever. Can't be that way. Gotta be happy. All time happy. Black woman happy. We always happy. We never have a bad day. Ever, ever, never. Mm-mm. Never.